Surprise, motherfucker.
I would say, welcome back, but I think that sounds kind of crazy to say after being gone for like years. So
It's
I'm just
been
gonna be like,
years.
this is
Damn.
yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been a while. So I would say this is just a special event episode that, whatever, we just want to throw out there.
Okay.
We have pretty good predictions when it comes to who we choose is going to win a fight. And I would say, it's because of a simple will that we kind of go by, and it's not exactly a rule of thumb, but it's more so like this is what you need to do in order to win a fight.
A secret source to us gambling and betting and predicting. To say it's a little rule of thumb type thing. It's not Yeah,
it's not the official rule of thumb, but depending on the type of fighter you're going against, this is probably what you need to do if you're capable of doing it in order to get the W.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Yeah.
So, we're gonna start off with, obviously power, and the person or the fighter that beats a power guy is usually a speed fighter, but you have to have speed and defense. Usually beats a guy who's a power puncher. And you could look at people like Mayweather and Shakur. A lot of the guys they go against have more power than them, and obviously there's other things, but speed is really what they, I guess, are exceptional at, and they use that to their benefit, and they beat a lot of guys with power. You could look at Manny Pacquiao versus Thurman. I think going into that fight, Thurman was looked at as maybe the more power puncher and the youthful power. And he, it was a close at the end. It was like I think a split decision win for Manny Pacquiao, but the speed definitely built him out. Again, Manny Pacquiao against Lucas Matthysse. Same thing. Lucas Matthysse at the time was a guy who was, knocking a lot of people out.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Yeah. And Manny Pacquiao also is a guy with power, but I think people look at him mostly for speed. He definitely has power, but, look at him for speed. So, in this instance, like I said, I think for the most part, speed usually beats a guy with power.
I agree.
Now, people are going to say, well, who beats a speed fighter? And in our opinion, I would say a guy who has timing, but he has to have timing and good accuracy. There are some fights that's going to disappoint me as an example when I bring it up, but it is what it is. Again, Manny Pacquiao's looked at a guy with speed. Who does he get stopped by? Juan Manuel Marquez. Stops him.
Yep.
Marquez is not really known for a big volume puncher, but he is more so known for timing and accuracy. I could give you another example. Vernon Forrest against Mosley. Sugar Mosley was looked at more of a guy who was speed, and Vernon Forrest was just timing and accuracy and would catch him all the time. Somebody else with good timing, Terrence Crawford always to me has great timing and accuracy with his punches, but this one is going to hurt the most. It's going to hurt you too. I hate to say it, but it is the truth. You know where I'm going?
No. Wait.
Jones. Roy Jones.
It's funny while you talking about it, I'm thinking about it like,
Yeah, Roy Jones is definitely looked at as one of those guys who his speed was just top tier, exceptional. And he loses to Antonio Tarver, somebody with great timing and accuracy. And that one pains me a lot. But again, I think timing plus having accuracy beats a guy who has speed.
Dressing room, do you have any questions? I got a question. You got any excuses tonight, Roy? Let's not ask questions like that. Let's go to work. Tonight, Roy. Let's go to work.
Up until the time that Roy would actually go to them and say, come on and throw your punches, Antonio.
And there were boos in the house during the first fight.
Now they fight in the center of the ring, and his hand speed and foot speed is being a problem for Talbot to deal with. He's a good man, and he's helped a lot of boxers down there in this town. And in addition, he's one of the few guys sustained attack against him.
And there goes Jones on a hard left hand, and that is the most that Roy Jones has ever been hurt. Only Lou DiBella ever knocked him down. Jones may not get up, and he makes it up. It's over. Jay Lady stops the fight.
Yeah, thank you.
It hurts me too.
The slow
I
tears slowly dropped.
But this is where we come across now. If you have a guy who has good timing and he has plus the accuracy, this is where we come across volume. Now, I think you need to be a volume puncher in order to beat a guy with good timing, but not just volume. I think you need volume and effective pressure. You have to be able to walk him down. You got to be able to cut off the ring, but you definitely have to have a volume puncher. And there's many instances where volume punching is, beats timing. Look at you, the Hawk, Aaron Pryor. A lot of his fights, he beat guys down. Roberto Duran, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who threw a lot of punches.
Let's bring it to a more recent fight.
Yeah.
Morrell versus David Benavidez.
Yeah.
I thought for sure Morrell was the better boxer, better technique, good timing, but I was like, he's going to be overwhelmed. Yeah. And it showed up throughout that whole fight. He just completely overwhelmed him. Mm-hmm. And it's volume, but it's also effective volume. It's not just throwing nonsense punches to throw nonsense punches, but David Benavidez is a pretty special fighter. Absolutely.
Somebody else who I wanted to bring up, who we're going to talk about later, is Fundora. Fundora against Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu, he was looking like a pretty good fighter, and he's still a pretty good fighter, but when it comes to the skills department, I would have to give him having more technical skills than Fundora. Now, Fundora has an asterisk next to him because of the height and everything, but Fundora is somebody who throws a ton of punches, and he basically overwhelmed Tszyu until Tszyu, he just had to hang it up. Yeah. Now you're gonna ask, well, who beats a volume puncher guy then? And I think you have to have power plus chin, and being a power puncher plus having a chin definitely could beat a volume puncher. You know what I'm saying? Definitely beat a volume puncher. We see it like examples with Tank versus Leo Santa Cruz. Same thing with Paul Williams and Sergio Martinez. Paul Williams is somebody who, even for his height, threw a lot of punches nonstop. One of the most volume punchers in boxing today. Mm-hmm. And Sergio Martinez, obviously, it was a mixture of timing also, but power stopped that.
Also, he's considered a power puncher, but look back at Joe Frazier and George Foreman. Frazier knocked out a lot of people, so the power was evident, but he was more of someone that wore you down and beat you. Yeah, it was with power, but he wore you down. And it doesn't matter how many times they fight, George Foreman knocks him out. But that's usually the same formula for how it will play out most of the time. Right. And what we're saying is just a majority of the time, this is the rule of thumb.
Right. And again, it is not exactly a rule of thumb, but it is what do you need to do to get the W.
Yeah.
And something we did bring up, or something you definitely brought up, was not all fighters are able to do that.
100%.
And we know that's the case. Not all fighters become the fighter that they need to be in order to get the W, but we're saying in order to get the W, depending on who you have in front of you, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. So let's go back.
Okay.
Sir, there was a specific style we talked about with Tio and Shakur.
Okay.
And
sure.
We both said Shakur is going to win, but I felt Tio's best chance was to be active. And you said he's never even shown that ability.
Right.
That one adjustment could have made that fight competitive.
Yes.
as opposed to looking at a complete landslide where he got completely outclassed, where people are saying TO's over. You know, I don't know what you scored that fight, but I had it close to a shutout. I think I wanted to be generous to give him a round, but, you know, he shut him out. And had he just been more volume and not aggressive, but more volume, just throwing, it could have made the fight maybe more competitive.
No, absolutely. Because in the power department, obviously he had the power. You know, he's a guy with, you know, the power. And he has a decent chin. It's not great, but he has a decent chin. But he's a guy with the power. But he failed because he didn't throw enough punches.
Yes. So just in the formula that we're bringing up, sometimes guys absolutely do not have what it takes to implement the secret sauce of what you would call it. This is the weirdest sport ever. This is probably the only sport where you could be totally outclassed and just once out of every 100 fights. None of this means shit. And you throw everything out the window and you get one of the most shocking upsets ever.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's like this dude shouldn't even be in the ring with someone, but hey, he showed up and he won.
Yeah. I mean, that hints the word upset.
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty much. But you know, to bring it back, I said I'm gonna bring up Fedor again because obviously he has a fight coming up very soon. Fedor against Keith Thurman. And again, if we use our will formula, our boxing will formula, whatever we're gonna call it, I would say Thurman would, maybe he falls underneath having more speed than Fedor. What would you say? Because he certainly now the Keith Thurman does not have power. He doesn't have the same power. No. I definitely don't see him having more volume punching. So it's either between speed and timing. Maybe he has more timing than speed.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. And again, what beats timing? Volume, which Fedor definitely has. He also has power. I think he falls underneath both of those. And I guess speed could go to either one or maybe both. But this is not looking good for Keith Thurman.
No. And I want to give him respect because of how intelligent of a fighter is, how tough he is. But I think he's going to get stopped.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I absolutely think so. You know, if this was Keith Thurman a couple of years back, I would give him more of a chance. But
yeah, I think he had hand surgery or arm surgery that kind of took away some of the zip of the one time. I can't remember what it was, elbow, wrist. It was something.
And he looked like he was on a spiritual hippie journey. I don't know what was going on with him for a couple of years. I don't know. I don't. But he wasn't as active as he should have been. And this is a big hill to climb for him. He's going against a guy who definitely has the height advantage. He's going against a guy who has the power advantage. He's going against a guy who has the age advantage over him as well. So this is going to be a rough fight. I think he's going to get stopped as well. I'm going to have to go with Fedor.
Oh, yeah.